Welcome back to the McCowan Podcast. Dave Hodge in for Bob. Uh, we touched on it briefly in the opening, but those late night games at Dodger Stadium. I'm not sure everybody who is a Blue Jay fan were able to stay up. I'm not sure that our next guest, John Gibbons in San Antonio, Texas, was able to stay up. Any chance you stayed up and watched 11 innings of baseball at Dodger Stadium last night, John?
Johnny, I had a hard time staying up when I was out there coaching. So no, definitely not. So we got the internet, man. I check it in the mornings.
I gotta ask what was those iconic stadiums like Dodger Stadium when you managed there, when in interleague play, were those special things? I mean, the Jays played at Yankee Stadium, they played at Fenway a ton, but Dodger Stadium and and a few of the other big National League parks must have had a special place in your heart.
Oh yeah, you know what? There in Wrigley are the two old stadiums.
Right.
I don't think there's any more, but it's something about Dodger Stadium. It's probably like as old as it is, it always seemed like the cleanest stadium around too. It's I don't know, it goes back way back too. But there's just something about it's peaceful. You see the palm trees, and it's just a clean place, and it's just definitely a different. We all know it's a different attitude out there, for crying out loud. But they show up late, they leave early. But yeah, I always enjoyed that. I'm a traditionalist. An old throwback type guy. Those things are important to me.
So before I let Dave jump in, I got to. So when you walk to the mound, is there any chance you'd walk out and tell the pitcher, "Hey, look in the third row. There's Mary Hart sitting there, or Larry King sitting there." Would you ever be starstruck yourself out there?
Oh yeah, it's an amazing place that that's everybody goes out there. They may not be able to tell you the score, but they can tell you who's it's a place to be seen. Hollywood. So, but yeah, it's pretty impressive, and it's immaculate. They take great care of the field, and there's just something neat about it. And I think a lot of that has to do with history, obviously, just like Yankee Stadium and out there in Fenway too.
It's peaceful when the Jays are there, or were there when you were there, but when the Giants are there, John, not peaceful. It get rough.
Oh yeah.
That rivalry is awfully intense, and we don't like to see the stuff that's happened between those two teams. But I want to talk about what happened last night, because I did stay up late, and I wanted to talk about this issue anyway. So in a general sense, I'll give it to you. This is a little inside baseball managerial category, if you will. How did you feel, or how do you feel about using your closer on the road in a tie game in the bottom of the ninth inning? He cannot close the game. He can only extend the game. And I have an issue with closers being put in that position, because I think then they are extenders and they don't do well. Jordan Romano has lost 5 games this year, and I think 3 of them came when he pitched in a tie game in the ninth inning. And last night, they were in a tie game in the bottom of the ninth inning, and Jay Jackson was John Gibbons' choice to face Betts, Freeman, and Will Smith. And he got him 1, 2, 3, and he came back in the 10th inning, and he got 3 outs. And then the Jays scored 3 runs. And then Romano, the closer, came in and got 3 outs and won the game 6-3. I think closers are built to go out there with a lead of a run or 2 or 3, and that's what they do, and that's what they do best. And incidentally, 2 other relievers, Alexis Diaz of Cincinnati and Paul Sewald of Seattle, 2 of the best relievers in baseball, were put in that position, tie game, 9th inning, and they both lost last night. Did you have a theory about how you use your closer in a tie game on the road, 9th inning?
Yeah, Dave, I would never do it. Maybe there might have been a time or something that at a necessity or something. I don't know, but no, that was the way of thinking back then. That there's just, and the reason being, like you said, there's just something about their mentality, their mindset. once they become a closer and a successful closer, it's just you know, the game is, what did Yogi say? 90% of the game is mental, the other 50% is, well, whatever. Yeah, but but the mind is so important in baseball. And I think they get locked into that. And what else too, that, you know, like if you say you put Romano in there in the tie game on the road like that, you're going to have to use him 2 innings, right? Unless, you know, you're going to, you know, unless you take the lead and you want to let somebody else close it out. And you know what, those innings take their toll on these guys, especially nowadays. Most of them are just 1 inning pitchers. Used to be in the past, you know, Raleigh fingers in those days. And, you know, they throw, you know, they can throw as long as you want them to, but there's just something about it. And it wasn't just because that was the philosophy. I saw the same thing. I saw guys struggle doing that. You know, it's like you could take a closer and he may have not pitched in 4 or 5 days, so he needs an inning. He needs to throw some pitches, right? So you put him out there, they get beat around all the time. Very rarely is it a clean inning, right? So there's something to that mental thing. But I think the new way of thinking in the game nowadays with all the analytics is, well, you ought to be able to use this guy whenever. And there is some truth to that, but you know, all you got to do is look at the results, and results have always told me, hey, they don't do well in those kind of situations.
I mean, Schneider's decision to go with Jay Jackson against Betts, Freeman, and Will Smith, if that doesn't work, the first question is, why don't you use Romano in the 9th inning to take it to the 10th inning? But I cheered like hell when he didn't use Romano then, because we saw in Seattle what happened when he did. And I just don't think it works. So anyway, we won't beat this issue to death.
No, hey, it's one of those things, you know, the beauty of baseball. If it works, nobody says a thing. If it doesn't work, everybody. that's what's so good. So you better hope it works.
In that scenario, does it, for 2 things, would it matter going to the top of the 9th at home? Would that change your thinking, as opposed to being on the road where you know that you can close out with the home team at the plate, and you still have a chance? So if it's 3-3 in the top of the 9th, would you put Romano in? Would that change your thinking?
Now at home, yeah, we'd always do it. You know, a tie game, you know, or the lead, that guy always pitches that inning, you know, and you know, because you shut that inning, you got the last at bat, you hope you can win. Yeah, that was kind of automatic. So that was definitely the way the game was viewed back then. You never pitch him on the road in the 9th inning without the lead, and then you know, everybody kind of followed suit. But I'm going to tell you this too. I don't know how it is nowadays, but your closers would bitch and moan when you start trying to.
I was going to ask you. They're looking at their stats. They're looking at their stats too, right?
Yeah, and you know what? They get paid a lot of money to close out games, and so you kind of interrupt, or you know, maybe it's petty. I don't know, but it's. You know, they're sitting there, they're MFing you under their breath out there and all that stuff, you know.
Well, they're always going to blow saves. I mean, I think there's only one perfect closer this year, and that's Carlos Estevez of the Angels, who's 23 of 23.
Yeah.
But so the blown saves are going to happen. But I would imagine what bothers them more, and what would bother Jordan Romano the most about this season, is 5 losses. I mean, closers aren't supposed to lose more than a game or 2, and he's lost 5 already, and sometimes because of the situation that we've talked about, and his ERA is just under 3, so it hasn't been his best year, but he's still tied for 3rd, I think, in saves in Major League Baseball, and he's, you know, the Jays got to hope that he's his best from now till the end, because they need that. But I mean, the rest of the bullpen did okay, except for Trevor Richards.
Hey, you know, this time of year too, these guys are starting to get fatigued. You know, you know, that's why at a week from now at the trade deadline, you know, all the contenders will try to fortify their bullpens, right? Because especially in the game nowadays, where starters, if you can get 6 innings out of starter, you consider that a great day, right? And so, you know, you got at least 3 or 4 innings you got to fill with the other relievers. Of course, like Jay Jackson came in, pitched a couple innings last night. You know, those guys are rare. You don't find that too often anymore. You know, it's usually 1 inning max. They come and blow it out. So they're getting to that point now. It's almost August. They're getting tired. So you try to stretch them and push them beyond what they're used to. Like, say, Romano's got to go 2 innings if he comes in. You know, it starts to catch up. and then these guys get to the playoffs, man, and they're really on fumes, and then it's but you could always tell. I mean, it didn't always work, but it was almost year to year. If a relief pitcher was really good one year, he was going to struggle somewhat the next year, because if he's really good, you're going to use him all the time, right? Mm-hmm. Then the next year he'd be like, he'd be worn out in a lot of ways, right? And then he'd bounce back, and it wasn't automatic and it wasn't 100%, but you'd see that a lot, that they, depending on how much they're used, so.